We talked about this a bit in the Bad Driver Epidemic, but heavens to Betsy, I had no idea how much worse it actually is. In a 15-year study from 2009 to 2023, we found out that police chases have been steadily rising by 2% each year, meaning 30% overall before the recession. And I'm just gonna say this, the world really hasn't healed from 2008, have we? Like, it's crazy that something that happened when I was 9 years old is still puppeteering most of my adult life. And my heart goes out to younger Gen Z who aren't even adults yet, but they're about to enter an even worse economy than us older Gen Z did. And as quite a few of you commenters pointed out in my road rage epidemic, the way most people cope with these tougher world circumstances is by giving in to the rage. And while I absolutely do not justify this behavior, I'd also be a fool to deny any correlation. You guys might be onto something. People are angrier than ever, and it shows in all aspects of life, with road rage, with bad driving, and yes, even with this video's topic, the police chase epidemic. And this time, it's not just cars. Motorcyclists, y'all gonna catch some smoke this video too. Mandatory disclaimer for the YouTube overlords, I do not condone evading law enforcement, and everything you see this video is for educational purposes, and do not run from the police IRL, okay? Okay, so how this video is going to work is similar to my marketplace videos. First, we'll cover chases where entitled clowns with super slow vehicles somehow delude themselves into thinking they'll get away. Then we move on to people who paid a steeper price for their stupidity before finally moving on to absurd chases to finish this video on a lighter note. 2026 is already on track to being another high volume year for police chases, breaking record highs in 2023. Prior to COVID, places like New Hampshire only had 77 chases in 2019, but a whopping 200% increase to 130 chases in 2024. What's crazy is ultimately how pointless most of these chases are, since the chances of getting away are only a measly 17-ish%, with 37.5% of them realizing midway through the chase that they're not gonna get away, so they surrender. But unfortunately, most of the damage is done within the first 2 minutes of the chase, and even the ones who do somehow evade the chase, 75% of them get found 24 to 48 hours later thanks to better surveillance systems, tracking, and even witness intervention, since everyone has a smartphone now and can send a report to track these clowns down. Why be a clown running from the police IRL when you can clown on the police anywhere from the safety of your phone with today's sponsor, Asphalt Legends, which is a free-to-play arcade racing game available on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Switch, and mobile. The absolute sense of speed combined with all the insane stunts you can pull help you build up boosts to unleash a burst of adrenaline to dominate your opponents. With brand new events running daily, intense multiplayer sessions, and an extensive career mode, there's always something to look forward to in this game. Like right now, they're running a Remots Nevera event where if you beat enough challenges, you can unlock a brand new Remots for your garage. And you already know I unlocked the amazing Porsche 918 from last month's event, and I also went up from level 4 to level 15. Yeah guys, I've been playing this game way too much. I mean, what can I say? It's been a great part of my childhood. I genuinely do love Asphalt, by the way, which is why I challenge all of you watching to take part in the events right now so you don't miss out on these rewards and cars that you can unlock for free. So get racing today and add some sweet rides to your collection. After all, the game is free to play on consoles, PC, and mobile, so download it today with my link below in the description and pinned comment, or use the QR code on screen. A brand new Legends Pass just released, so race away and complete challenges to unlock rewards throughout this month. Thanks again, Asphalt Legends, for sponsoring this video. On to Chapter 1.
Take this!
Chapter 1, the delusional and entitled. Starting off this chapter, let's talk about this biker with zero skill and no concept of leaning. I actually have been riding motorcycles over a decade since I was a teenager and started with a dirt bike, and to this day I've ridden many kinds of motorcycles, which means I get to talk extra smack on this loser, since I actually know his technique is trash. Look at how often he keeps turning his head back like a baby with no object permanence. It's like he thinks the cops will just magically vanish the next time he checks or something. Probably should have kept the mirrors on, buddy. All that time spent deleting his license plate for better aerodynamics only to barely break 80 miles an hour during this chase. As if that wasn't sad enough, he's obviously never even ridden a bicycle a single day in his life, because even toddlers lean their bicycles more than this guy leans his motorcycle. Like genuinely, look at how much he's slowing down just to take these turns, only to still end up taking them super wide. Like look at the speeds the cop is going going at this point. He's literally just genuinely chilling.
And another. And then starts driving on the opposite side of the road.
He's driving in the oncoming lanes, back on.
By the way, a sport bike is designed for easy lean angle. They're very lightweight, they have sportier suspension, and they have curvier tires. They're practically begging to tip over into the corners. I'm not even joking you. If you just dangle off their bars a bit, just a little bit of counter steering, these bikes will initiate the lean for you. It's not that hard, but if you know counter steering well enough, you can do it with one hand. Like, look at me right here, right? Watch me do this on a single cylinder motorcycle that barely changed its design since 1944 when it was dropped on the beaches of Normandy during World War II. What is this guy's excuse? Both hands, modern sport bike, not leaning. And thankfully, this loser gets exactly what he deserves. This guy should generally never touch a bike again, not even an e-bike, not even a regular bicycle, for all of the public's safety's sake. Two wheels just ain't for you, little bro. Something I want to mention that's pretty important is that most states have a no chase policy, and this is to reduce potential collateral damage, as we talked about earlier with a lot of third parties getting involved. Sometimes it's not worth chasing people because you're putting too many other civilians at risk, so it's not just the officer or the guy getting chased, especially through big metro areas. However, for places like Georgia State Patrol and Arkansas State Patrol, you are flagging yourself for open world PvP if you do decide to start speeding, and you're gonna have to deal with skill-based matchmaking as well. Georgia State Patrol will chase anything, car, bike, moped, scooter, and they will also do it anywhere, even in Metro Atlanta with 6.7 million people around. They still try to find the best moment to do it, but there's still some sketchy situations you'll see in this video. GSP is the closest thing to real life Need for Speed, which is why it still blows my mind there are plenty of these clowns in Georgia who still subject themselves to GSP for no reason in particular. Let's take a look at some of their work, alright? Here's a short and sweet one, a classic from a few years ago. This rapper in Atlanta tried to run from GSP and Sandy Springs Police, and he's doing this in a BMW i8. And as a car guy, don't let the way this car looks fool you. This car is actually slow as balls. It has an inline 3 in it, and not the cool kind in the Triumph Rocket. Somehow this whole car has a smaller engine than some motorcycles do, but because it has butterfly doors, we got people thinking it's actually a supercar. So he got run down, gapped, clapped, and slapped into jail immediately. Also, no hate to this guy actually. He has since turned his life around after spending some hard years in prison, and even says it's no one else's fault but his own for getting in there. It's good to see some accountability and happy endings, especially considering the first loser from this video, and I do wish this rapper the best. So at least I can understand his misplaced confidence with the BMW i8 because it looks fast, but now I really want to address the background clips I was showing in the Bad Driver Epidemic, which if you haven't watched that video, check it out after this one. Why are teenagers these days trying to run in de facto slow cars that obviously look slow and are completely bone stock, and they pack it up with like 4 or more of their friends, and they just go, yeah, you know what's a good way to spend today? Let's try to go outrun GSP by barely going over 100 miles an hour, maxing out our poor 4-bangers red line that our parents gave to us, because in this economy, I know most teenagers unfortunately can't even afford their own cars. That's extra tragic. They're ruining their parents' cars, and they're doing this not realizing that the polices in their V8 Chargers are just gonna calmly follow them, no sweat. Like, what level of delusion and main character syndrome do you need to have to like think you can outrun 800 horsepower Hellcats, supercharged Mustangs, and a fleet average of like 475 horsepower? So even normal GSP cars are still really, really fast V8s, and they still top out at like 160, 185 miles an hour. In what universe did these teenagers and grocery getters think they were escaping Georgia State Patrol? Like, this isn't even ordinary police either. Like, apologies to my non-car viewers for dorking out over the car's specs, but these numbers matter, right? Like, especially when it comes to calculating chances of escape. Or maybe I'm too rational. Maybe I'm way too rational where I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't even think about escaping unless I had like, I wouldn't even say even footing, because my 800 horsepower Z06, I wouldn't even try an 800 horsepower GSP Hellcat. Like, you would think they'd behave if they knew they had 0% chance of getting away, and the GSP goes as hard as they do and will literally hit them and roll their car. But life's gotta hand them canon events, and GSP's out here to remind them that they're just a background NPC, and dishes out that canon event that hopefully makes them grow up, because I will say all occupants in these clips clips were thankfully safe and unharmed, which is crazy when you consider that their cars rolled over. But they're lucky to be walking away, and I hope they don't decide to themselves, haha, I survived, therefore I am in. Rather took it more of a, wow, I could have really I could have lost my soul in that accident. I really should rethink my life and how I spend it. And it seems for the most part, like with the rapper earlier, these consequences do work. Sometimes the only way some people can learn is the hard way. And you're gonna see what I mean with the next entry, especially what happens if you let someone off easy. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and your food so far, then drop a like and shout out to all the people who watch my videos on their lunch break. I know, it's getting harder and harder to find YouTube videos to eat food to, but I've got you covered with my weekly epidemic slop, so make sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, damn!
Just gonna briefly mention this video. I will not be showing the end footage. I'll put a link to it in the description. You're gonna see why I don't want to break any guidelines, all right? So we have this guy, Kia Stinger. He's on a first date with some girl he met online, and he's speeding to impress her, and it's not doing that. She's actually terrified, and they get pulled over by the police, and they're told to slow down, or he's told to slow down rather. And the police was nice enough, went really easy on him.
You have the temporary one that they give you with the template. Yeah, and so that's your registration, right? Yeah. The reason for the yours.
That kid was speeding so bad, we almost hit him. Another kid in a bike.
I know. That's why I stopped him.
Another one. You almost hit me too.
Ma'am, that's why I stopped him. Have a nice night, okay? Yeah, that's what I'm stopping you for. Reckless driving, careless driving, speeding, and the lights you ran, okay? You're doing at least 100 on Kennedy Boulevard. All right, man? You almost struck my car because I was making a right turn. All right? I'm giving you speeding. I'm giving you that break, all right?
No jail, no pit maneuvers, no weapons drawn. But instead of just taking that mulligan and driving the speed limit the rest of the way home, we all know that meme, right? Like you get pulled over for doing something stupid and you go, you know what? Go the speed limit the rest of the way home, sit in the right lane. I screwed up, right? Instead of doing that, he tries his luck again, goes off at 120 miles an hour.
Just minutes later, Officer Nunez responds to a reported accident involving a tractor trailer and makes a chilling realization.
Yes, I was. Yo, this is the same kid. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
6-1. Paramedics are needed.
We're gonna need a crash team, sir. Crash team, we need a crash team.
This time he's not chased by the police. I can only imagine her terror in realizing this first date would be the last date of her life. All because this insecure loser wanted to speed like an idiot and she was helplessly along for the ride until the very end. Genuinely, I 100% understand why some ladies are very tentative on their first dates, especially when you have losers like this out here who could genuinely be your last. Stay safe out there, ladies. This ties back into what I said earlier. A lot of the comments in the Kia video mention how at those speeds, you can't really go easy on them. A ticket won't teach them a lesson, and the officer might even be living with some regret knowing that he just talked to a dude one last time, knowing that maybe there was something he could have done to really teach that guy a lesson. Because had that guy just been detained for the night, even if he didn't go to prison, because sometimes they can just hold you in a holding cell for one night for being stupid, that would have saved him and maybe taught him a bigger lesson where he wouldn't even done what he did. But again, it's not the cops' accountability. I just feel sorry for the girl more than anything in this case. So back to what I mentioned with the kids, that's why I hope them surviving those triple-digit encounters with the police, I hope it didn't embolden them to ever try that again. And I definitely think having a totaled car that was their parents' car will definitely help with that, because that makes it a lot harder to speed when you don't even have a car anymore. I hope to God their parents didn't just spoil them with a brand new car. Like, we can't go easy on this type of behavior. That's the whole reason I'm bringing up that Kia Stinger incident. Because if my teenager kid was speeding in a car I bought for them and then wrecked it because they got caught in a police chase, or even just wrecked it without a chase, just crashed it, right? They're gonna work retail for the next 2 or so years and buy their own beater car off Facebook Marketplace if they want a car again. The best thing I'm giving them with my money is a moped. I'm not even a Honda Super Cub with multiple gears. They're getting a Vespa 50cc, 35 mile an hour top speed. That's what I'm giving them. Other than that, they're gonna have to buy their own car again if they want to be out there on the road. And that should teach them, give them some time to boil over and think about the stupid decision they made and realize how expensive cars are, especially in this economy. Unfortunately, that won't teach all kids, because there's some kids out there who'll just resort to stealing a car instead of doing honest work and making up for the mistake, which is why we should probably make a video about the bad parenting epidemic. And if you want to see that, make sure to leave a comment and like this video, because I want to laugh and hate these kids, but I do know it is also a parenting mistake. So something must be going wrong back there in the home life if these kids are emboldened enough and not disciplined enough to think that they can go and steal a freaking Lamborghini and take the police on a 100-mile-an-hour chase through New York. But yeah, these clowns stole a Lamborghini SUV and then proceeded to speed triple digits through New York streets before losing control and crashing. Like, not only do these criminals have the worst choice of cars each and every time, they somehow lack any skill for driving fast, which I guess kind of makes sense, because if you were actually good at driving fast, you'd be the one getting away with it. And quick tangent, it's also funny seeing like people in the Takeover crowd and all these other wannabe street racers finally do their first canyon run and immediately eat dirt after the first corner. Meanwhile, I drive so well that I just use my tail to dragon runs, and maxing out my Z06's G meter or drifting around a track, that's background footage. I'm so good at driving that it's not even the main focal point of my videos. Like, I'm sorry for self-glazing again, but I can't help it, because sometimes if the concrete won't teach these fools, the other best way to teach these clout goblins is by shaming them and letting them know they ain't even all that. I literally solo their peak. My background footage is their entire life's work that they still can't even match. They can't even fathom a single hour of seat time. Crazy. Speaking of takeovers, how are people still doing this garbage in 2026? Can we leave this behind in the COVID era of 2020 to 2022? Y'all still got money to waste on tires in this economy? Who am I kidding? They're probably Klarna paying for their tires and probably loaning up their cars up the wazoo like all the other fools in the stupid car buyer epidemic were. That, or it's also stolen cars. Look, I may not be a bootlicker, right? But if there's one thing I de facto root on the side of police for, it's stopping takeovers. So many people these days have to work 2 jobs, sometimes both day and night shift, barely scraping by with 4 hours of sleep just to make enough money to live, and they have to sit in traffic because these takeover clowns are blocking intersections in the right year of 2026. Nah, gang, it's official. Bullying is back on the menu. Remember what I said about shame earlier? It's time to implement it. I was already fed up when I made my pro gatekeeping rant about Gatlinburg last year, but generally, Unk's on a warpath now. I'm tired of being the nice guy if it means the car community is going to be annihilated into oblivion. Don't give an ounce of clout to these goblins, and to every single third shift nurse or ambulance driver who plows through these intersections, Godspeed, you absolute heroes. Some of us have actual jobs to get to and societal duties to hold that we can't be dealing with this garbage behavior. Even the unemployed people gooning to Zenless Zone Zero and other Hoyoverse games are contributing more to society than any takeover clown is. These fake car guys can hate weebs all they want, but they are literally beneath them by a huge margin. Heck, even a guy tweaking on Fent at the corner store is higher up the societal ladder than these takeover clowns ever will be, since at least that guy is leaving people alone. For the most part. I hope they get the help they need.
You're sure it's this one? I don't want to go on a stinker chase here, and I'm be honest, our protagonist, not in the optimal whip for a chase.
So if you thought the vehicles in this video couldn't get any more questionable, think again. From excavators to bulldozers or smart cars and scooters, here are some absurd chases to end on a lighter note. This next guy in a smart car made some dumb decisions as he tried to evade police while barely being able to keep up with normal traffic. So if you don't know, smart cars usually top out around 80 to 90 miles an hour, and obviously with heavier crosswinds, or if they're going up a hill, realistically you might even go slower than that. So while he was able to squeeze away between cars and local traffic, the moment he got on the highway, well, just take a look at him. He's barely pulling away from normal traffic who are just commuting. And here you can see this truck who's right next to him probably doesn't even know a police chase is going on right now and that the smart car next to him is the guy that they're going after. The police ended up calling off the pursuit and just tracking ahead of the location of the smart car to see where it was headed and just stop it there. And since that car is a 0 to 60 time in 2 whole business days, once it is stopped, it can't really get going that well again. So they intercepted him further down the road and safely put an end to this pursuit. Aside from cars though, nowadays we got brand new killdozer wannabes popping up left and right without even a fraction of the aura the original had. Like, look at this goofball trying his luck in this excavator. I genuinely don't think there will ever be a police chase ever again in any vehicle to match the OG killdozer incident. Like,
he built a 49-ton armored tank and leveled an entire town.
Even the town hall, and especially the police department.
that is literally the peak definition of triple SS tier of a police chase. It had everything, the lore, the thrill, and best of all, we actually rooted for the guy running. Like, I miss the time when police chases had some deeper lore than just getting attention or causing trouble, like these stupid takeover kids or stolen cars or running with their parents' cars and all this modern police chase behavior. Back in the 1920s, the only reason tuners even exist is because tuning culture first started with souping up cars during Prohibition to run from the police from admittedly what was a really dumb law, which was obviously banning all kinds of alcohol, even for full-grown adults. And it ended up being more dangerous than it was safe because people made really sketchy, shady stuff. And pre-social media culture, one of the most legendary chases of all time, the Killdozer, that was a man lashing out at a corrupt local government who kept taking while never giving a single thing back to the community. He managed to destroy the police department, several government buildings, all while not harming a single soul police civilian, and didn't damage any unnecessary buildings either, just the ones he targeted. The only thing that was damaged, unfortunately, was his own soul. Rest in peace, my guy. Having said that, reminder, I do not condone running from the police, but I did want to state the difference between somewhat justified rebellion against a tyrannical government, origin stories of police chases, right? Versus the pathetic clout goblin behavior that it has devolved into that also negatively affects other civilians just trying to get to work and putting their lives at risk, right? Having said that though, stay safe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Share it to your friends and anti-government conspiracy theorists. Subscribe for more weekly epidemic slop. Check out last week's video if you haven't, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bladed Angel out.